What's going on, people? Welcome to Matic TV. It's a little bit earlier tonight, but I know people have got things to do. There are important football games to watch, and no doubt everyone will want to just settle in and watch PSG beat City and knock City out of the Champions League. So here we go. We're going a bit early today. On today's show, we have my man Owen, who was with me, alongside me, as he was last week at the protest this weekend. We've also got a look from the other side of things. We've got our man Strohan, massive Liverpool fan. As you all know, he's been on this channel before. So let's obviously go as easy as we went on him last time, because he does talk sensibly. He does talk sensibly. Most of the time. Okay, I'm only joking. Anyway, guys, we're going to touch on what happened at weekend, obviously, the implications of that going forward. We're going to touch on the Roma game a little bit. But interestingly, there's not much else been going on in the world of football or talked about in the world of football, apart from what happened at weekends. And yeah, we've all had our say on it. We've all seen the pictures. We've all seen the videos. First of all, before I forget, actually, guys, are we both all right? We're both having an all right week?
Well, yeah, apparently me and you are the most violent, criminal, damaging thugs that ever walked in two fucking shoes, apparently, mate. I mean, we're violent, drunk. We're drunk. We're high on drugs as well, lads. We're obviously smoking wacky backy and snorting marching powder. That's just the assumption of every football fan. And we had 7 or 8 cans. And we were ready to go and storm and punch policemen in the face. That's just what we were definitely doing, mate. That's what. So
that sounds it's like a normal weekend out for us, mate.
Exactly. That's just what football fans do, isn't it? That's just apparently that's what we do.
That's how we're perceived, isn't it? Joe, mate, good week so far for you, mate. Obviously, football aside and everything.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, I heard rumours that you three, including Flawless, were playing heads and volleys on the pitch, so all good, all good. Hopefully it's going on the Old Trafford pitch.
No, I'm only messing, guys. Flawless wasn't on the pitch. I'm not going to. I don't know anyone who was on the pitch personally myself. There's quite a few there, but there are other matters at hand as well, guys. Like Owen just said then, we all seen it. I put a little video out yesterday of how it was all perceived. I had messages from Australia, from Norway, from America. I had messages coming in from everywhere, through all the news broadcasters from all around the world. This went worldwide at weekend. And my ugly mush, and some of Owen's as well, was right on the front of it.
You're on Sky News, mate. Look at you, Mr. World fucking Wide here.
I had no idea that guy who I was doing the interview with was basically feeding that same video to every single news broadcasting company across the world.
He said he was Associated Press. That's what he said to you. I remember him talking to you, and he just said he was Associated Press.
I couldn't hear a bleeding thing. How did you hear that? Oh, that shows my age, doesn't it? My hearing's completely
I'm shot. 21. The hearing's not gone just yet. It's all.
Yeah, that's a point. Yeah, it's a good point. But yeah, no, Australia, Norway. God, I had all sorts of people messaging me. But we're going to get into that actually now, mate. But first of all, Straw, I want to come to you, mate. Looking at it from the Liverpool side of things, Liverpool kind of got forgotten about in this whole episode that went down this weekend. I mean, looking at it from the outside in, how do you see it? I mean, you're a Liverpool fan. You've got a very similar situation to us, not as long in the tooth as what we've had with the Glazers, but you've seen similar sort of events and similar sort of noises coming in from inside of Liverpool, certain things going on. Our club is being run now. So in terms of what you've seen there this weekend, how did it look from the outside looking in?
So obviously I've got mates who were at the protest. I've got mates who did the protest at Carrington initially. I've got mates who were at the protest, the first one. Obviously, as you know, I do from a third eye view with Flawless and JV, and both of them were present at the first protest.
It was
the second one as well. And from the outside looking in, I think this is the moment where United fans have waited for in terms of making the Glazers stand up and pay attention. let's not get it mistaken. Liverpool-Manchester United is the biggest game in England. It's one of the biggest games in the world. Liverpool were poor historically for 30-odd years. This was still the biggest game in England, in English football. It always has been and always will be. To get this postponed is massive. And I fully respected. Don't get me wrong, I didn't like the violence because obviously you see the pictures of the steward or the policeman who's got the slash in his face. Like, the problem is, and I tweeted this in support of everyone that was protesting, you get the group of idiots in every club, but that's just society in general. Sky's viewing was awful because they did not know how to approach it. They didn't know how to fill the gap, which was meant to be the Liverpool United game, and it was poor viewing. And speaking of the poor viewing, was some of the comments. Souness, oh, they're only protesting because they're not competing. No, I've remember pictures of Fergie lifting the trophy and it's green and gold everywhere because they wanted Glazers out then. This is nothing to do with the fact that these aren't competing. This is the fact that your owners have bled you dry. I've been to Old Trafford a couple of times last season with work in boxes, and you look at it and it's old, it's decrepit. Old Trafford, when it was first had the extension done, was beautiful. It was up there with one of the best stadiums in the world. It's just been left to rot and it's not painted properly. Just everything's just getting old, and they don't even look after that properly. And I mean, the stewards, like, they don't even look after the stewards properly, don't look after the ground, the facilities properly, and it's just like, they just don't care about it. And obviously, I come on as a Liverpool fan and joke with you, with Flawless, with Aaron, Saeed, and everything, all them lot, and I just say, look, they care more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They do. They don't care about United, and this was a big moment for United fans. And you know what? I was actually really happy to see it because I hold United to the highest regard. To me, they're the biggest club in the world. Forget Barcelona, forget City, forget all of them. Like, historically, United are the biggest club in the world, and they have the biggest revenue in terms of global fan base. And what the Glazers have done is disgusting. Taking dividends out, like, it's awfully run. And United have had a few, obviously, and since the Super League, there's been a few big moments in terms of United's news, with obviously Woodward saying that he's stepping down, which is massive for you lot. And I think Sunday was huge, and I enjoyed watching it because it reminded me of when we got Hicks and Gillette out and we protested, we left the stadium, and that was a turning point for our history. I mean, look at us now. Since then, we've kicked on and we've leaps and bounds. The difference is unbelievable, and United are just waiting for that moment, and I think Sunday was the catalyst to that. And I hope for my friends who are United fans that you do get them out, because we can't have these owners in football. We can't, because they will ruin football.
No, I mean, well said, mate. Quick super chat. I seen Alien super chat regarding me and Owen and Football Factories. Yeah, noted, mate. Thanks for the super chat. Ash, Glazer out, go Man United, green and gold until we're sold. Dead right, mate. I heard that so many times this weekend. I mean, Owen, mate, quickly, I'm going to come to you on something that Joe just touched on then, mate, in terms of the coverage of it. I went over to the dark side. It wasn't the dark side. I actually had a really good crack with him. I went on the LFC Day Trippers YouTube channel and spoke to the boys on there, the Liverpool fan channel. And you know what? They were going in, mate. And we didn't see any of this because obviously we were there, mate. But did you catch anything like Joe was saying there, the Nevilles, the Carragher? Because everyone was going in on them, mate. Apparently, I've seen clips. I didn't watch it all, like Joe said. A lot of people were watching it live and listening to him, but it just seemed disorganised. It seemed like, because it was unscripted, they didn't know what to do. And it just wasn't coming across well to everyone. And they've took a bit of a slaughtering, mate, in the press and amongst social media and a lot of the fans.
Yeah, no, I mean, I caught a bit of it, to be fair. I went into a pub in town and they had it on in the beer garden, and there. Watching it, and like Cara and Neville, I'd say Neville probably wanted to jump in the crowd with us and let off a flare and dance around with the corner flag because he fucking hates them as much as we do. But at the end, I'm exposed. But
first one of the night.
But in terms of what Souness was saying, like, I mean, he was going on about the fans being inflammatory and all that shit, and honestly, like, does he forget that he put a fucking Galatasaray flag in the middle of the Fenerbahce pitch? Does he forget that? And he was going on about, you know, a beer can could have flung and hit him in the head. I mean, that could have happened to you. That could happen to you on the road, mate. You can get knocked into the road. And yes, it was irresponsible for people to be throwing around bottles and beer cans. Yeah, don't get me wrong. That's not right. I've seen the bottles getting thrown. It wasn't right at all. But at the same time, the way the police were acting at that protest was beyond a joke. I'm sure you two have seen the video of that lad who is definitely younger than me and is getting absolutely kicked the shit out of by 3 police officers while they pin him down and absolutely beat him into a pulp. And then they're pushing people away, like, filming it.
The worst one I thought was, did you see the guy who stood there like that? And then the police moved forward and just bowled him over. I mean, you can't get any more, I'm not interested, I'm not laying a finger, I'm not causing trouble, than just standing there like that. And then bang, I see this guy's head hit the floor. I'm like,
yeah,
can you just sidestep this man?
They're all there with batons out, trying to scare fans essentially, and trying to intimidate fans and trying to go near them and trying to, you know, harm fans essentially is what it seemed like they were doing. And then you see all the little prick police officers, is what I like to call them, because I know they've got a tough job and I don't envy it in the slightest, but there are certain jobs where you can't have bad apples. And you see all the little ones with like holding cameras trying to catch people out. No one was really doing anything wrong. You've got 12 police on horseback trying to chase us out of a ground. We're doing a peaceful protest for the most part. And of course there are going to be idiots, but the way the police tried to handle it was so stupid. It just went, honestly, it went beyond belief. I couldn't believe it when the amount of police horses turned up. It was just a joke. And when I seen that video of that lad, the level of a coward you are to get 3 of you to pin down a lad half your size, and you see the guy, he's punching him. He's punching him like he's punching a punch bag in the gym. And he's as Sho said there, he's brought him behind the van to do it, to give him a hiding. Like, if that copper isn't done for that, because I guarantee you, every single fan that was on that picture will get a banning order and will be getting a massive fine. So why that copper needs to be reprimanded? All 3 of those coppers need to be reprimanded for that. That's not right. That's not right in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Quickly, super chat from Alien. Cheers, mate. Owen, is the kiddie going to the next protest?
No, I don't.
So Stro actually knows, and anyone who's just joining us, there is a bit. He is one of my moderators, Alien Tenno. He is top contributor, but he does come up with random stuff about an imaginary kid with Owen. Just so you know, in case anything pops up. It's been going on for nearly a year. No, we love him. We love you, Alien, mate. We do, But I don't know how many you've. It's Alien, mate. You're not on the drink already, are you? I was saying that from what he was telling me the other day. That's a possibility, but. You both touched on it there then, actually. I mean, I was talking about how Sky were broadcasting this. I mean, I've learned how to take everything Gary Neville says with a pinch of salt, to be honest. I mean, I like Gary Neville. I understand where he's coming from at sometimes, but I just got the feeling like, do you know what? It was like Carragher wouldn't say anything bad against Gary Neville ever again because of the whole spitting incident and in job and stuff like that. They are quite good mates now. It just seemed like they didn't know what they were saying, and they had to be really careful and think on their feet about what they were saying as it was happening, because of stuff that they'd said previously, a couple of weeks before, when the Super League was hitting home. You touched on Graham Souness there, Gary Neville. I mean, the only one who's probably not scared about saying anything wrong is Roy Keane, but we know that anyway, to be honest. Mickey Richards pretty much nailed his blue flag to the Sheikh Mansour, and, well, he's got that many ambassadorial roles going that he was never going to slag off his owners. But for me...
Sheikh Mansour's apparently a great football man, is what he said, wasn't it? Or something along those lines.
This is the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, Sky Sports stroke would have been top of that queue for the rights to put this Super League out there. We know that. They would have been right there.
It was released by the New York Times that the company that owns Sky said they didn't technically name Sky because obviously Sky were trying to go on this high and mighty propaganda. They were at the table to discuss it. The company that owns Sky, and where else is that going to be shown apart from Sky? They were at the table. So it's like you can play this high and mighty card all you want. You would have literally been one of the first people to be at that table to try and get the rights for this. And The thing that irritated me the most about the coverage, and I don't know if you have seen the full thing with Carragher and Neville, but a lot of United fans that I know that I'm mates with were like, why is Carragher speaking more sense about Manchester United and the reason why they're protesting over Gary Neville, who should understand it a lot better? And the thing I didn't like more than anything from a Liverpool standpoint was some of the facts that Gary Neville was coming out with are just absolute lies and nonsense. Like, so one thing he came out with was Liverpool, the owners of Liverpool tried to furlough the players. How? We were still playing in the Premier League. We still had Premier League games. How can you furlough the players? Then he turned around and said that they tried to renegotiate the contracts. Surely this would have come out in the press by now.
The thing is with that, Joe, mate, I think they're right. They tried to furlough staff, but the fans didn't let it happen. Yeah. In the first place, so the fans stood up to it, didn't they, and stopped it?
So they tried to furlough, like, for example,
non-playing staff. Non-playing staff.
But Carragher, I mean, for Neville to turn around and say that he tried to furlough the players is utter nonsense. And then the fact that he tried to then turn around and say that he tried to renegotiate contracts, it's just like, listen, I want FSG out. Let me just make that clear, because the week that they dropped it, let's not get it mistaken, they dropped it on Hillsborough week, which that's a no for me. And there's no coming back from that for me. It's as simple as that. You can't come back from that for me. I've watched my uncles, my dad lose friends, lose people, do you know what I mean, in that disaster, and the impact it's had on their life. I've seen it from a young age. So the fact that you don't even have the decency to wait a minute, it's Hillsborough week, this isn't the week to drop it, and you dropped it anyway, just proves that you don't care about the fans. You didn't care about the fans with the plans for this anyway. So it's like, I want FSG out, but if you're going to talk about FSG, talk with some facts. Don't just make up lies for the sake of it. And that was my biggest problem with it. And then when you look at Souness and what he was saying, it's like, no, once again, and I liked what Carragher did last night, where he was like, it's lazy punditry, actually talk about the facts. United aren't doing this because they're not competing. United aren't doing this, like Neville was saying, because of the Super League. The Super League was the straw that broke the camel's back. This is 16 years in the making. This is 16 years in the making. And like I said earlier, when I was making a point, was I hope that this is the catalyst, and I hope that this is the moment that the Glazers realise, no, we need to leave Manchester United and we need to sell it on, because owners like Glazers should never be allowed to own a club like Manchester United. United are the biggest club in the world, and they are a disgrace of owners. And this is coming from a Liverpool fan. They are awful. Don't belong in English football.
Imagine that they're that much. They're that bad that they have managed to get United and Liverpool fans to unanimously agree on something as a fan base, as a whole. Just not even just United and Liverpool fans, all football fans around the world that don't necessarily like each other, never get along with each other, and they're all that bad for our game. They're killing our game that much. We're all taking a stand against it. I mean, it's brilliant to see, because it's just like, it just proves that we could do anything, we could achieve anything if we get together as a unified group. I mean, you see the divide at Old Trafford all the time. For one time, there was a bit of unity around the fan base. We've stopped the biggest game in the Premier League calendar in United Liverpool.
One of the biggest games in the world, mate. Let's not forget about only 4 billion people waiting to watch this game, and it's got stopped. And this is where I got a little bit nacked about some people's reactions. It's like, and I tweeted it out, and I got loads of comeback on it, but pretty much all the comeback, apart from a few idiots, was, and I said, and you know what, the guys on the LFT Day Strippers, they pretty much put the words of this into my mouth, and they said, look, United fans took one for the whole country this weekend. They stood up and took one for the country. And I was saying the other day, people were saying, people who are uneducated, and I don't mean this in any sort of derogatory way or putting them down. Everyone watches as much football as they possibly can. Some take it more serious than others. But these are the people who come and make stupid comments on certain things that we may put out there, or things that are said on mainstream media or whatever. Look, you wasn't moaning, like Souness said, when we was winning things. Look at all the money they've pumped in and wasted. I went, yeah, but the problem is, and people are slagging United fans off now, is, yeah, I feel like I have to apologise to a lot of the smaller football clubs for not standing up as the club we are and the size we are and making such an impact like we did this weekend. apologising to the likes of Bury, Macclesfield, Blackpool, all these clubs that have gone down the wayside. You know what? I'm confident in saying this, that every football fan, even the ones who were like, look at these idiots here, deep down, they were like, get him. You know what? Something needed to happen here about honours. And if it happens at a club like United and Liverpool, then my God, we are setting some sort of mark. And then it can just trickle down into the rest of the league, into the pyramid, or the so-called pyramid. I'm sick of the sound of that. And Gary Neville probably droning on about the pyramid of football. But for me, I feel like we did take one. We took one. And we'll get into the repercussions of it in a second. But if it means us losing points or whatever, I don't care. I really don't care anymore, because
I care, because Saeed reckons I might lose my season ticket here because I was on the MEN.
No, you won't, because you weren't doing. United has made a statement, by the way, people, that anyone on the pitch who was not causing any damage will not be getting any ban. They've stated that anyone caught, and the idiots that we've seen without masks on, full face on view in front of cameras, smashing up equipment, holding corner flags and all this, jumping on goals, everyone like that will actually be banned from Manchester United. So people who are actually on the pitch, and this was dads with their kids as well, these were hooligans. These were normal people just walking around the Old Trafford pitch. So they've said that they won't be. So we will see. We'll see what actions come of it. But getting back to the United fans taking one for the rest of football fans across the country, this had to happen to someone big. And you know what? I bet they're ruined the day they actually came up with the idea of this Super League and the repercussions of it. Stroll said then, I know for a fact that Henry doesn't even follow Liverpool on Twitter. They've all come out, every single one of these owners have come out and said, we didn't expect the reaction we got. Tells you enough how disconnected they are from football in this country. That alone is ridiculous. How they can say we didn't expect this reaction. Surprised by it? Are you stupid?
But in America, because they're used to America, they move teams all the time. Stan Kroenke in charge of Arsenal.
But the difference is, mate, this is in England.
I know,
that's what I'm saying. Premier League.
They haven't brought that across in their stupid little Yankee doodah fucking minds. They still think they're in St. Louis or Los Angeles.
Yeah. The best clip, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, Joe. Did you see the John Champion clip on ESPN talking to the American guy? That pretty much summed it all up. I think there you got both sides of it there, and the understanding of both sides of it. You got the ESPN guy who's trying to back what happens, and then John Champion just shot it down straight out.
Did you guys hear the story about the Boston Red Sox player?
No.
Oh, I've not heard that one. Go, what's that one, mate?
So basically, the day that it broke, obviously the night that everyone was leaving, in terms of obviously Chelsea and City left, and then obviously we left and you left. That morning, Boston Red Sox had a game, and John Henry was at the game, and one of the Boston Red Sox players who's contracted is a lifelong Liverpool fan, and he's got family in Merseyside. He turned up to the stadium in his Liverpool top after the game, waited for John Henry in his Liverpool top, and made it abundantly clear, and this is, you can go on Google, you can find this, it's reported everywhere. His words were along the lines of, don't you fucking enter this Super League, don't you ruin English football, don't you ruin Liverpool Football Club. No, and literally, he's an American, and he understood what it meant. So when it's hitting John Henry at home,
Zahn the Bogarts, he's like very famous.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, guys. I mean, just to make it clear, I have loads of American United fans on this channel, as everybody knows. We've had he won't mind me saying it, but Dave, Stadiums France, very opinionated man, as we know, gets his points across well educated. He's had abuse from fans from Manchester, of Manchester United, saying we don't want you anywhere near the football club, simply because they're American. It's not right. It's simple as that, guys. We're all one fan base. The fact that it's an American owner has got nothing to do with what country you come from if you support this football club. Let's get that straight now. So let's not get that mixed up, and let's not make a big deal out of that, people. Anyone doing that just needs, you know what, you're not a real fan. Simple as that. You're not a real fan, so I'll leave that one there. But repercussions, guys, it's a big topic. Quick super familiar there. My home club Chester was destroyed by greedy owners. Massive point now. Well said there, Alien, mate. I do remember the Chester debacle, actually. And these are all very close to home sort of towns. These the Macclesfields, the Berries, Chesters, they're not a million miles away from United. I mean, and it's good that someone United size, mate. It is. Getting into it, guys. Big discussions. Obviously, no one's heard anything from the Premier League in terms of punishment for the top 6 teams, or so-called top 6, in inverted commas, Arsenal and Spurs. But I'm looking at what could happen now. There is big rumours that United could be getting a point deduction, Owen. I mean, is it really going to make a difference from where we stood in the league right now? Is that a bottle job sort of cop-out sort of way of punishing United?
I honestly don't give a fuck. We're not going to win the league. We're going to fit. Even if you deduct us, even if they deducted 10 points, I'd still think we'd finish in the top 4. Like I honestly don't give a fuck. And even if we don't, I really don't care. I honestly don't care anymore. It's at the point now where it's bigger than, you know, us playing in Champions League next season. It's bigger than that. I don't give a shit, to be honest, at this point. Just let it, if they need to deduct points. Find us directly, find the supporters. I don't care. As long as it's going to be a process, it's going to be horrible for 2 years in order to get these bastards out. But we have to make them feel unwelcome, unwanted, and get them the fuck out of it. And they don't even. Well, to be fair, the only way we do this is if we all get a flight over to fucking Tampa Bay and protest outside their stadium. Because I think when would they last at Old Trafford? I know they're at the Barca game at the new camp. I can never record him ever seeing him walking out of Old Trafford out by the bridge there. I've never seen.
We'll never come again.
They never will. But they never did come in the first place. They never came. I remember they only ever used to go like when we were far along in Europe, like in the Champions League. I remember seeing them outside the Team Hotel against Schalke in 2011. Like there's a handful of times that they've ever been to United games, and try and say that they care. Like, just fuck off, man. I don't know for your insincere bullshit. Just gradually leave. I know you can't leave straight away, but just gradually leave it. You're not wanted. You're just not wanted.
I mean, I titled this on the thumbnail. If you're watching, people, if you look at the thumbnail there, you could probably clip Owen's little mini rant there that he just said. And the title of this video. We're looking towards the European semi-final this week, which we're pretty much nailed on for to get to a final and celebrate Ollie actually getting past the semi-final stage. And underneath it, in big text, does it even matter? I know we pretty much just summed up what a lot of people in the comments are saying as well, mate. But we've got
getting emails about possibly going to Gdansk. Did you get that email?
Mate,
there's
I'm
a possibility
of
going to Gdansk. I mean, there's me like sort of half getting gassed about being able to go back into Old Trafford for a Fulham game.
Mate, they want to charge me 30 quid to go watch the Fulham game. And they still owe me from 2 seasons ago. They've not paid me back from
fucking rebates. Oh my god, man. They're holding retention more than a fucking Essex scaffolding company, man. They're taking their absolute piss.
Love it. I mean, we're talking about repercussions and what this means to a lot of United fans. Position in the league, the fact that we've walked through this semi-final, it's probably giving us a little bit of an edge here, Joe, in terms of what we can say and how bullish we can say it in terms. Well, we're not really bothered, but for Liverpool, mate, it's a different story, isn't it, mate? That's put you behind Chelsea even more now. You're still trying to catch up with Leicester. You know what I mean? Spurs have won as well. Clawing back on you, it's put you a little bit behind, and everyone says, yeah, games in hand, but points on the table is what matter, mate. And prolonging this is probably not going to help you boys. It's just going to add to the pressure. I'm guessing.
What's not helped us is the fact that Mane and Firmino can't score this season. So even if you give us the 3 points, we're not going to finish in the top 4. Our top 4 was with when we drew to Leeds, which was the Super League nonsense. Which obviously you see Klopp being left hung out to dry by the other 6 owners. He was the first manager to get spoke to after everything broke. Obviously, Solskjaer had a bit of it, but Klopp was just left hung out to dry by Henry, and then obviously the Newcastle result, because we can't finish and we had 15 unbelievable chances in that game. That's what's cost us this season. Yes, we've had big injuries. Yes, as you know, we've gone through a turmoil in terms of everything. But even if you give us these 3 points, thanks for the 3 points, it's not going to get us anywhere. It just probably means we don't finish in this Conference League bullshit.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Do you know what? I in everything going on, it's funny you bring that up, Stroll, there, mate. But oh, good God, I would want to lose. I never want my football team to lose a game. I don't care. People with agendas about getting managers sacked and all sorts. I don't want him there. I want to lose the game. But this stupid idea of a second-rate, and let's not get me wrong, is there anything worse than the Europa League? Well, yeah, I think you can take this one and double it.
Not nowhere like.
Mate, the only reason it's got relevance now is because you can get in the Champions League. That is it. Yeah. Other than that, it's a pain in the ass and it gets in the way of the season. Simple as. But this, oh my God.
I don't hate the Europa League, but Europa Conference League. But no, I can see why it's been designed, and like playing devil's advocate. No, let me play devil's advocate, please. No. I'm not. It's not been designed for the for La Liga, for Premier League. It's been designed for the lesser countries. Like there are 3 teams from the League of Ireland going into it straight away in the qualifying rounds. That will just tell you that.
Don't involve anyone from the big leagues, then.
Well, look, Ads, you've got to have some sort of a team to drag in some sort of a TV money. I can understand why they fucking done it. But it's nice for the smaller countries, is what I'm saying, trying to play devil's advocate. It's a stupid thing, and if we're ever in it...
perfect for the likes of Arsenal at this stage.
Exactly. Stroy makes a fucking phenomenal point. Arsenal do unreal in that. And they'd actually win a European trophy. Like, who knows? They'd actually be delighted.
Mate, don't even joan at that right now. They're still clinging on in this Europa League right now, and you know what it's like. I don't want to say anything right now and jinx it, but no, what Joe said there, it's like, I mean, can you imagine a Liverpool or United in that competition, Joe?
Yeah, but the 23s played.
You wouldn't see. Yeah, I was going to say that exactly then, Owen, mate. You wouldn't put a first team out, would you, mate?
Absolutely not. You know what? There's part of me which wants us to go into it because I know that we would play the 23s, and then it gives us a better crack at the Premier League next season.
The new Milk Cup. Brilliant. New form of it.
Just build the youth up in that. Play the likes of Curtis Jones every game for that and get him even more minutes than he's had this season. If you're going to bring Harry Wilson back, put him in there. Like, for me, I honestly don't care. Like, the Conference League is nonsense. This new Champions League plan is nonsense. UEFA are just nonsense. It's just a mess.
It might be nice though for the youth players. It might like
no. It would.
Matic Kovar getting a game for us.
Hey, do you know what? If we had Ollie in charge, mate, I guarantee we'd have Bruno in there, we'd have Maguire in there. It's just play everyone, wouldn't it?
You know he would as well. You see, we've been playing Bohemians on a Thursday night, and you just see Bruno lining out in fucking the north side of Dublin, like just. Oh.
You know what? But he'd be there like that, and then everyone would get wound up because he'd be getting all the stats up and everything like that. But oh God, no! I mean that just sounds like a nightmare. That's the failure cup, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the failure cup. That's what it is.
But it's the failure cup, and Arsenal aren't going to qualify for it.
Yeah, but it's either you or Spurs, so that's just as funny for me and Ads, to be honest.
Oh no! Good.
Huh?
I mean, they should have never got rid of the Cup Winners' Cup. Simple as, should they? You know what? It had a bit of nostalgia to it, a bit of bite to it. It used to be competed in the day.
Like, even when it was called the UEFA Cup, it had more prestige than Europa League. Like, it just meant more. Like, it's just.
It did. No, you're right.
Everything.
It did. What was the other one? Now we're going down memory lane. The Intertoto Cup. Oh my God!
That's
wasn't this the backdoor one with the yellow cards and the discipline?
They had like 3 winners a year. Like Newcastle won it, but like so did like 2 other teams. Like they used to have 3 winners. Like that was a fucking joke of a competition.
Oh man! When would they play these games, by the way, guys? In this competition, what day of the week they're going to play them?
On a Thursday.
What?
On a Thursday as well.
At 3 a.m. in the morning or something?
Nope, at the same. Well, I think before the Europa or around the same time as Europa.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, punishments. I don't think points is going to make a difference just because we went off subject completely there. Back onto point again. I don't see what points deduction does to anything in terms of United punishment. It's not going to change anything because, like Stroll said, everyone below us just keeps tripping each other up. It's just like one stumble after another. It's like we've been stuck in second for about 3 months now, and every time it looks like we're actually going to drop out and we've been playing awful, everyone else behind us just falls over. I mean, Leicester are perfect for it. You think they turned the corner, then they can't beat 10-man Southampton, who are on their asses, who had 10 men for 80 minutes. The league is just, get the fans back in the stadium, for God's sake, and let's get some normality going again. Then we'll be able to really judge people. But 3 points, 6 points, I don't matter what it is, it's not going to touch United. It really isn't. The only way you could sort of say, the only punishment, there is none, is there?
Were you talking about
deducting
us 3 points or giving the three, or just giving the win to Liverpool?
Giving the win to Liverpool.
Taking 3 points off us.
Oh, as in an actual deduction.
And then we'd have to play the game again. We have to honour the league. So they would take 3 points off our total.
No, I thought from what I was reading that they were talking about giving us the 3 points in the game and then looking at
that would be even better for United. That's what it would be, because we wouldn't lose anything, would we?
Yeah.
We wouldn't lose anything. We're still 4 points ahead of Leicester. 4 games to go.
It's not going to change it. You'd have to literally take points away. Last time I can remember this was when Chucky McClare was trying to take on the whole Arsenal team on the sideline back in 1990, I think it was. That's the last time I can remember any First Division / Premier League team getting deducted points, and that was for fighting. So they'll say it's a big statement. They'll build it up like it's, like the first time in Premier League history. The Premier League are making a stance to deducting points.
Pompey got deducted points, actually, I think. Years ago. I think Pompey got deducted points for like financial things.
Yeah, financial things. But it ain't going to happen because we just tried to cheat the whole league system, all 6 teams in that so-called breakaway. I've not got one bit of punishment because the Premier League are scared.
No. So speaking of that, the FA are actually investigating. So the FA have approached Liverpool in terms of what their role was in it, and they've asked for statements. So the FA are the ones that are looking at the punishment.
All right, well then, that's fair enough. But again, I'll say this: when it comes to the FA, I wouldn't trust them as far as a completing throw either. They're just as corrupt as anyone. So yeah, they'll probably take a backhander from the Premier League and just quash the whole thing then. As long as they get what they want, my God. But yeah, I just think it's power driven, and in the end, I don't see a punishment which is going to be enough for Man United. I really don't, unless it's significant point deduction to take them out of the Champions League, which they probably don't have the power to do. So for me, it doesn't really matter. It's all about what happens in Parliament, what happens in governing this whole system in terms of what a football club owner needs to do, and fans have to have a say in the football club. I mean, but Stroll, mate, do you think still 50+1 as a majority shareholder, they still got a right to actually say, no, we don't really agree with what you're saying as a fan base? If us fans did have a say on all of this, would they even listen to us in the first place?
No, I mean, they've shown it with these owners. They just don't care. And it's like, for example, Liverpool, the way we handled it was an email was sent out to the staff. John Henry didn't inform the players, didn't inform Klopp, didn't inform the CEO, which is Billy Hogan, who actually met with the group of Liverpool fans from the Spirit of Shankly today to basically hash out the issues between the fans and the owners. But these owners don't care. Even if we went with the 50+1, the reason why it works in Germany because of how efficient and how well it's run. It's like I made this point on From a Third Eye View is if you've got a match day ticket to go watch Dortmund, but Dortmund are playing Munich, and you need to travel to the game, you can use your football ticket to get on the train for free. They'd never do that in England. Everything's money driven. They'd never want to do that. So it's like the 50+1 sounds amazing. They would never be able to implement it here because there's too much money involved in the English game.
But it's a version of the 50+1 is what they're talking about, though. Really, it's like Andy Burnham was. I think it's your mayor in Liverpool. The last name's Rotherham. I can't remember his first name. They were talking about it, and he's basically still talking about implementing a way of so that it would be 50+1% of the fan base. The season ticket holders have to vote on anything that is major in the club. So something like changing like the Super League, or changing the club crest, or changing the club colours, like it happened to Cardiff a couple of years ago. It'd all have to be, like agreed or vetoed by the fans. So that's like the first step in it, I think, and then you move gradually to maybe a more fan ownership, and wealthier fans taking a bit of a share gradually, and but maybe a consortium of fans who are wealthy and have the club's best interest at heart. It's not an instant process. This is something you got to work on for 5 to 10 years, and that's when it happens.
This is a 10-15 year project, is what it is.
This is not an instant project. I think anyone that thinks it is completely deluded. This is something you work at for 10 to 15 years. And that season ticket one, they're really talking about having it implemented in government within the next sort of 12 to 18 months. So that's actually really positive in terms of a move forward.
I mean, it has to take. If it takes time, it takes time. Nothing gets done overnight. We know that in football, especially. But as long as government and councils and everyone together are working together to make these changes happen and put in a plan. A plan is the big thing. Getting that in place so we can all see what's coming. Then maybe we can get back to some form of normality, knowing that we are looking towards a brighter future for the game. And then it will feed down into the smaller clubs. It will, because Premier League pretty much destroyed league football. We all know that. In terms of financials and everything like that, the distance is miles between Premier League and Championship. And we can see the exact, what's the word I'm looking for? You can see the outcome of that just by the parachute payment system to bring the big teams straight back up. I mean, look what's happened this season in the Championship with Norwich and Watford. They're miles ahead of everyone.
And Bournemouth
miles ahead. Exactly. Parachute pay. It's just unfair. And the gap is so big. It's no wonder that Norwich had no problem going back down again and keeping their same manager, because they probably knew they were just going to come straight back up again. And people are taking advantage of it now. It's like, how much money will they make for just going straight back up again? People are playing the system. The system that's in place right now is not fair. And unless you can break into it like Bournemouth did on that one-off crazy season and then establish themselves for a few years, you start to reap the rewards, but everyone else just gets left and forgotten about. And it's sad the way football's run, but like you guys said then, a plan in place to look towards a brighter future for the game is where we need to be looking now.
But what I don't understand is, I heard a Brighton fan talking the other day, and he made a fair point about, like, the clubs that are lower down in the division, the likes of Brighton, possibly Aston Villa, Newcastle, them sort of teams that are, lower in the mid-table will probably be up and down over the next 10 years. I don't see why you don't want to give more money to the Football League and try and improve it, because the likelihood is that you will be in there within the next 5 years. So why would you not try and make something better, which you're probably going to be back in? I don't see why you wouldn't want to try and put more money into the Football League and even it out throughout, because you're probably going to be back there. You're not going to be in the Premier League forever. Brighton aren't going to be in the Premier League forever. We know that. We've seen teams go up and down all the time, and some just don't come back for 10 or 15 years. So that's a point. I think the smaller clubs within the Premier League need to think about that. That's part of their future as well, that they will be playing in Championship League One. Again, not necessarily right away, but they will be soon enough.
That's a fair point. In terms of football matters, guys, obviously, Stroll, sorry to rub it in, mate, but you're out of Europe. You've got no game this week, mate. But looking ahead, we've had a big rest. Both teams, I don't think we can complain about match fitness or tiredness right now. Match fitness different, sorry. I mean tiredness right now. We've had the biggest break I think any United or Liverpool team would have had at this stage of the season for the last decade. So going into the games, I mean, where are the players' heads at? That's the question I want to know right now. We've seen the pictures of the United players looking out over everything that's going on. Apparently, they got really miffed off that they couldn't go out and talk to the fans. They were told to stay back.
Yeah.
Obviously, that made total sense for me in terms of COVID bubbles and so on and so forth. I don't know why they were kicking off about that, to be honest, the United players, but especially on a match day. But, I mean, Stroll, I mean, you know the problems. You just mentioned them there then in terms of this Liverpool squad, where the heads are at going forward right now. I think you've had a bigger drop-off than I think David Moyes did after taking over Fergie in terms of winning the league. And this, when it all comes down to it in the end, mate, is this... I'm not going to say it's going to help, but surely it's just delaying the inevitable that Liverpool are probably going to have their worst season under Jurgen Klopp, really, in terms of the players that he's got and the expectation levels now.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is by far his worst season, and there's mitigating factors that go into it, but at the same time, it's like obviously I made a joke about it, but Firmino's not been himself for the past 18 months. I mean, we won the title last year. To score 2 goals at home is not good enough for any striker. I don't care if he plays a false 9. I don't care if you class him as a defensive striker. I've seen that man have opportunities to score goals and he missed them. He was overcomplicating stuff and it's not good enough. Mane this season, he was our best player last season. He was probably more influential than Salah. And he's fell off a cliff this season and it's not been good enough. And yes, everyone talks about the defence and playing Fabinho. And you see the impact Fabinho has when he's in midfield. But the problem is if you've not got any defenders to go there, and that's down to FSG. Like, why are you leaving it to the last day of the window to get players in, knowing that at that point we were still competing for the top 4, and at that point we were still near above in the top 2, top 3, and we would have had another chance to compete. Not good enough from the owners, so that's another reason why I want FSG out, because this season's proved that it's not about the football. They don't care about the club. They don't care about the players. They don't care about the manager, because the decisions that they're making. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but they tried to trademark Liverpool. Who are you?
Yeah.
How dare you try and trademark Liverpool? It's like, and then like I said, obviously dropping the news on the Hillsborough week. And just going back to the point, this is the worst season that we've had under Klopp. And like I said, there are factors that go into it, but there's something about this group where you know what they're like. They're like a dog with a bone, and this will irritate them more than anything. The season that we've had and how poor it's been and everything that's gone on to it. And listen, everyone likes to forget how bad. Everyone's talking about Liverpool are the worst champions ever, but where was this energy last year when City, they were the same points behind, if not a couple points more, but yet no one talks about it because it's City and no one cares about City because they're not that big of a club. Suddenly it's Liverpool the season after and it's the worst title defence ever. So if it means we hold it for a season, cool, but this will light a fire in Klopp like you wouldn't believe. And I'm looking forward to next season. Whether Firmino moves on and we get another striker, who knows? But yeah, at this point, it's like you said, it's probably the biggest gap in terms of games that we've had at this point of the season for probably 10, 15 years. Like, I'm not seeing us have this amount of a break in. I think Hughes are going to go on and win the Europa League. Unfortunately, I think City are going to win the Champions League, and that will light a fire in Liverpool, and I hope it does.
It shouldn't be lighting any fires in Liverpool. It should be lighting fires in Manchester on the red half, mate, if anything. But we then bring up the conversation of a summer, and that brings the owners in again, and I'm fed up with talking about them, so I'm not even going to get into them. I mean, mate, we've got Roma. Foregone conclusion, looking ahead to Villa at weekend.
To be honest, I'm not really...
Hey, mate, here's one for you, though. Roma, new manager in the summer.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that. Do you know what? Do you know what it reminded me? It's like when I'm playing FIFA and just a random transfer happens. Like Thomas Muller just fucking moves to Stoke. Like, that was the level of random it was. But yeah, not fair play to him. He's going to go out and live in Rome. He'll enjoy himself there for a couple of... He'll enjoy himself there for a couple of years, win a Coppa Italia, and then, I don't know, probably manage Portugal. I mean, fair play to him. But I mean, we're up 6-2. It's going to be a comfortable game. I hope so anyway. I mean, we can lose 3-0 and still go through, but I'm really not that arsed. I'm not even after the protest now. I just want to get back. So I'm not watching it on the telly now. It just isn't the same for me anymore. But I'm more just in terms of the league games now. I'll watch them obviously, but I'm not really that arsed anymore. It doesn't really mean anything anymore now. It's just done. Really, it's done.
Need to shoot off.
Oh yeah, you shoot off to training, Joe, mate. Take it easy. Cheers for coming on, mate.
See you later, mate. Good
Take it easy, pal. Cheers for Joe coming in there. I seen your Big Ron's question for him there. We're actually just about to finish up anyway now, guys. But I mean, it's not even worth going into the team lineup. I don't expect Ollie to make loads and loads of changes, as he doesn't, especially now that they've had a week off. I think he'll use this as an excuse. Poor Donny. Poor Donny.
Man.
Let's bring some football content in before.
Do you know what,
mate?
man? I actually, it's at the point now. I feel like I want to take Donny. I want to take him for a steak or something, because it's about the only thing he's getting at the moment. That poor bastard. I just want to give him a hug. Like, he's looking on the sideline. He's just upset. He's just like, Ajax have just won the Eredivisie, and I'm just sat here doing nothing.
Beat up, mate. But he will get a Europa League medal if we do win it. So crazy.
That is true, but I mean, he'd be having a lot more fun at Ajax, I reckon.
Glory Man United TV. Guys, last 10 minutes, do get your questions in, anything you want to ask. Glory Man United TV has set us off here. Owen, I'll come to you on this one, mate. Do you want the Arsenal or do you want Villarreal in the final?
I want Arsenal. I want fucking Arsenal.
You want the ones that finish him?
No, I want to put that final nail in that coffin, and I want to set it down the stream and set it on fire like the Vikings used to, mate. That's what I want to do. I absolutely want to tear them apart in the final. I'd love nothing more than that. My brother-in-law's an Arsenal fan. Got loads of mates that are Arsenal fans. Would love nothing more than that.
Yeah, cheers for that one, mate. I mean, Ash is coming with a team. Wambazaka by Manateles, Fred up the yeah, you can see that. You can see some form of that coming in.
Is Matter even still there? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, he's still there, mate. He's still there.
His restaurant's in Bootle Street. Is he just chilling there these days?
Yeah. Alien doesn't really give a toss about the games left. I feel that. It does have that feel about it. That's all my ultimate feeling, especially being at the protest recently. It's like, I want the season to finish. That's just my underlying feeling right now. I want the season over. It just feels like it's just the most dullest, boring end to a season ever. And there's more bigger things going on than the football right now, and that's just how it feels. I think pretty much set it up yourself before, mate, didn't you, Owen, as well? It doesn't really matter. I mean, the final may get a bit of excitement about it, but other than that, I can't see anything else that's coming up that's really going to get anyone going.
I mean, I'm excited about the possibility of going to the Fulham game, because I just miss going to the games. I know it won't be the same, but just to be able to be back in the ground again. I'm
on Sky News. You're on the evening news, mate. We got no chance. We got no chance of getting our ticket for the Fulham game.
It's all right. It's all right. My dad. I'll get it under my dad's name. It's all right. Oh, mate.
Oh, crazy, isn't it? Robert says, Adam's suggestion, next protest, set up a goal with Glazer dressed person in it, and everyone takes penalties on him and film it. Yeah, I'm sure someone would just come up with a bottle and smack him over the head with it, even though it was a dummy, mate, with some of the numpties we get.
Mate. No, there's too many bottles getting thrown. That's not testing that one out.
Yeah, Kieran, you know what? That's one thing I would love to happen, mate. That's a great point. Would Greenwood get the winner in the final? That would excite me. Because then I know I'm like, Greenwood's dealt with what he's had to deal with this season. He's had a really good finish to the season. Double figures again this season. And he's had a bad season, apparently. He's had a lot to deal with. And he'll be raring to go for next season. That's what I want. He'll have to sum me off because Southgate won't pick him in the Euros. And that's what I look forward to. Another year progression for Greenwood.
I think Southgate
next season for him. You reckon above with everyone else?
No, because they've increased the squad to 26.
I know that, but I mean,
so I think he might take him.
We'll see. We'll see. You know, he won't play much, I don't think. It'll be a good experience for him. I feel like very Walcott under.
When Rashford went in 2016, he only came on in like one game, I think.
Yeah, Wales, I think it was.
Yeah.
Sure, it was Wales, yeah.
I was watching that in college that day, actually. Oh.
The match in Poland with fans in it, Ash Little, definitely. That's something to look forward to, mate. If all goes well. I know a lot of people are already buying tickets for Belfast for the Super Cup next season. Can you imagine that, mate? I don't think anyone's realised this, but I do realise that United are favourites for the Europa League and City are favourites for the Champions League, and it's them two who both play. That in Belfast was both fans flying over at the same time.
You're bringing a war to a place where there's already a fucking war. Essentially, like, it's gonna be mental. If it's United City in Belfast, I don't think there's a more fitting place to have a derby like that. But thankfully, I've already booked to go on holiday that week, so I won't be there.
Yeah, guy, that's one that you don't take the kids to. That guys, that's just.
I've spent most of my childhood going back and forth to Ireland. I have never visited the north and don't have much intention in going there anytime soon.
Oh, that's it. That's it. But that could literally be what we're looking at next season. That would be a start to a season, that wouldn't it? Oh, man, can you imagine? We're just glad that. What's the name? Oh no, what's that? So yeah, we don't have to play City in the Community Shield as well. Can you imagine that? Oh my days! We stayed in the FA Cup and they won the league, and then we had to play in the FA Cup and then the Super Cup. Oh, no.
To be fair, in all fairness, we always beat these bastards recently, so I don't really think it'd be that bad.
As long as we don't play them at Old Trafford, mate, we're all right.
As long as we don't play them at Old Trafford, I mean, we could play them at Windsor Park, which is basically just a breeding ground for the UVF. But like, we'll play them there. We could probably do them. I mean, it's blue. It's pretty much blue, the whole place there anyway. So we could do them in.
There we go, guys. That pretty much sums up this video. It is pretty much. I know I've said pretty twice there, but there's nothing pretty about it. There's a third time. Nothing really matters. That's how it feels. It just feels like the season's over. I honestly feel like it's in pre-season right now after what's gone on this week. It was a massive, massive week. Big shout out to everyone who sent out all the praise and comments of support and everything like that for bigging everyone up who was there. We did it for every United fan around the world. It's a tough time. I'm sure if restrictions were different, we'd have a load more United fans over from every corner of the world for the protests. Guarantee it. But we did our bit and we stopped. We didn't personally stop it, but combined through hook or by crook, a lot of it was hook and crook that actually got the game cancelled. But guys, we're done. This is it. We look forward to Roma. Should be a foregone conclusion. Then Villa at weekend. And we're just counting the games down, mate. Counting the games down till the season finishes. And then what could be one of the craziest summers in this club's history for more reasons than one. But, guys, quickly, I just want to say thanks to everyone who super chatted all the comments as always. Thanks Stroll for coming on. He's had to shoot off for training right now. Again, Owen, my man, Cockney Red 99. So, shout out the socials, mate, for everyone to get hold of you.
Yeah, Cockney Red 99, all socials and on YouTube. We'll be doing a show on Friday as well at 6 o'clock. I'm going to have Zogs on. It'll be good fun. I mean, apparently we're going Stoke away in Football Factory style, Adam. So
yeah, I won't quote the line. I won't quote the line from that because it is still not 8 o'clock. But yeah, we'll go ahead with that. But guys, for now, thanks for tuning in as always. Thanks for all the views on everyone from the protest and the coverage from weekend. It was a big day. You guys supported us from afar, and that's what we love on this channel. United has won. For now, we're out of here. I will see you on Thursday for the Roma watch along. We will have football to watch just as Owen's internet flies out at the last minute, but he's back again to say goodbye.